Cool. Hey Sacha, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Good. Thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. Um, Listen, it's nearly a month since you broke your record, isn't it? So it's lovely to obviously to chat with you again. I think I spoke to you very briefly after the record, quite quickly afterwards. And obviously there was lots of other socialising to be done, so I didn't want to hold you up then. But how are you feeling? How's things been since?
Yeah, not been feeling great, really. My body's amazing. Got back into work straight away, sort of maybe 2 days after the record, and yeah, have actually. I feel like I feel physically the best I've ever felt, even pre-record. So I figured it's from having a bit of a rest from training, and yeah, it's just
Feeling good?
done. Yeah, done me real good.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Peaks for the day, shall we say? Um,
Yeah, so yeah.
yeah. So, shall we give just to give us a bit of context? We've got loads of questions from people through the Sheer Performance page, which is brilliant. But in order for us to sort of frame it a little bit to give people a bit of context, how did you get into shearing? Let's go from there.
So my dad's a shearer, and we travelled around Australia when I was quite young. We moved there. I think I was 16, and me and my brother had to travel the sheds, shearing sheds with him and my mum on campouts. And I got into wool handling quite early because there was nothing else to do. Um, so yeah, didn't really wasn't a big fan of wool handling. I noticed I just sort of wanted to get better in I don't know, like just grow. You know, when you go into a company or something, you just want to start at the bottom and then sort of try and make your way up to the top. That's what
Yeah,
my thought process was with that. And yeah, just started learning how to shear from there.
amazing, amazing. And was it your dad then that inspired you to get into shearing, or was it somebody else? Like, what was the? Did you look up to anybody particularly? Obviously, you appreciate your dad was played a big part in that.
Yeah, yeah, he wasn't real keen on having me become a shearer. Um, I I don't think at the time when I was wanting to learn how to share, that I had anyone in particular that inspired me. I just really liked the way that all the sharers were. They were very respected by everyone, and they sort of were their own boss in a way.
Mhm.
Um, and I really, yeah, that was a quite a big draw card for me. Also, hearing about the money side of things, like compared to wool handling, when I was rousing in Australia, you were told what to do all the time, even if someone that you're working with wasn't, yeah, doing the same job as you still had to do more, which I thought was weird, and you weren't getting paid more, even though you were doing more. So, with the sharing side of things, it was however many, you make what you earn. Um, if you share fast, you make good money. If you share slow, choose to share slow and comfortable, then you just make whatever. It was that draw card.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's definitely stood out for me since I've been working with shearers as well, is that there's a definite direct correlation between like how well you look after yourself and the money, the potential that you could for you to earn money, which obviously, not no one's doing it for fun. Even if you enjoy your career, like, at the end of the day, you still got to eat, right? So if you can do it well and you can have more longevity in the sport, and shear more sheep, like you've just said, then potential to earn more money. So, um, all good. So if you're good at what you do, it's a rewarding thing, is what I'm taking from that.
That that's right. Yeah, yeah. You're getting rewarded by, yeah, the money that you're making, and then you can, buy stuff to reward yourself in that way,
Yeah,
or put it towards a house or whatever.
yeah,
That's sort of what I was drawn to.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it, love it. So in terms of, so I've obviously got some questions here that have come in from different people. So um one of the things that I think is quite interesting, maybe I don't know what your thoughts are on this. Obviously, you mentioned that there wasn't a particular person that you looked up to. Do you think now that like the likes of yourself and Marie and Amy and Megan and you know, Pauline and people that before you, like, do you think now like that there's more ladies setting records and being, you know, achieving amazing things, like, you know, but not just achieving amazing things, people have done that before, but like actually being recognized for that? Do you think that will change? So do you think like there'll be like a young Sacha out there now who's watching maybe this video or maybe watched you at your record, and they'll be aspiring to be like, you know, like yourself or someone else? You think that's different now?
Yeah, like, oh, don't get me wrong. I after I started learning how to shear, I did Google women shearers, and then I saw Emily Welsh.
Emily,
She
yep.
came, yeah, her world record, and that was really inspiring seeing her. Like, I remember a time where, because I never ever met another female shearer, and I was told by many males that there's no female shearers, you just can't do this job, blah blah blah. And then I went on Google and searched her, or searched female shearers, and she popped up, and that was the real like aha moment for me. Like, oh well, she can do it. Like, I was just blown away at her tally that she shore, and how small she was. She was only tiny, so I was thinking, well, if she can do it, I can shear sheep too.
Yeah.
Never thought that I could be capable, would have been capable of doing a world record. But yeah, it's amazing where just sticking to it got me, really.
Yeah, no, amazing. And like you say, without risk of forgetting to mention other people, but like, you know, like the likes of Ingrid Baines, that was now Smith, obviously, and her mum doing that record, that sort of tally together, that record together. And then you've got you know, Jill, who's a big supporter of all things women shearing. So I think it's a really positive thing that shearing's going through now. So a question. So I want to make sure we answer some of the questions for the people that have asked them. So in terms of your mental preparation, a lot of people have asked questions around that. So how did you prepare mentally for what you did on the day? And and so there's two questions here. So how did you prepare mentally? And then how did you deal with it when things went a little bit, you know, because not everything goes perfectly, does it? So how did you deal with that?
The mental preparation, I put a lot of work into that, actually. That was probably my biggest worry about the day. I've always had I've always sort of choked up a bit while shearing in front of other people. So yeah, it was sort of a big thing for me. And I just, had to figure out a way to get through it, and to focus to block everything out and just to focus for 8 hours pretty much. What was the other question?
The second part, sorry, was when things didn't go quite to plan on the day, because things, like you say, there will be little micro moments that doesn't happen, even on a day like yours, which looks, you know, when you look at the tallies, it just looks absolutely perfection. Like how did you deal with that? Like,
so pretty much what I did, and this is the type of person that I am in my day-to-day life anyway. I always think of what can go wrong, and then I'll
preempt it, like
preact whatever I can do to change it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And if it's unchangeable, well, then I just have to learn to deal with that as it comes. But I'm a very sort of organized person, so everything that I did for my day, I made sure that I had a backup plan A, plan B, and plan C. And then if all else failed, it's sort of like you just got to run with it as you go.
Yeah.
That's how I prepared. A lot of people have different ways of coping with that stuff, but for myself, I can't deal with surprises very well.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll make sure we tell Cole not to propose to you again then.
Well, funny story. There was chat about that. So on the day, the boys were making fun of him, saying, "Oh, when she does her speech, it'll be how funny would it be for you to drop the knee and blah blah blah." But he didn't do it.
Don't you dare,
Thankfully.
Cole. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's really cool. Yeah, that's really good to sort of share that. I love that idea of sort of preempting a problem. You know, it's not it's not if, it's when, and how do we deal with it, sort of thing. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Again, just another question to come in because they're all really relevant and good. So, what was there any difference between the sort of, this is a question from Dave. What's the biggest difference between a record day and everyday shearing? How would you summarize that?
So there's quite a big difference. I mean, you don't shear in front of judges in your day-to-day shearing. Well, like in a way you do, because the farmer judges the way you shear a sheep and all that, and the contractor as well, and I suppose the other shearers do too. But to have people actually physically pulling your sheep out and judging them throughout the day, making sure that all the rules are getting abided by. Because like in a shed, you can get away with doing a bit more, leaving a bit more on, and sometimes that's what some people do to get a good tally. And on a record day, it's all governed, so you have to shear to a standard.
Yeah.
Another thing would be most of the time at World Records, there's a large crowd of people.
Mm-hmm.
Just in my team alone, there was 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's there in itself is there's 50 people plus the crowd that turns up to support you on the day, which I don't actually know how many people turned up on my day, but there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
You've got cameras on you, like, well, for me, I had a live stream event, so cameras were on me 24/7. Lots of people taking photos and videos. That's another thing that you don't get that in a shearing shed environment. So those are a few things that I could think of off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. I think, yeah, like having been involved in a few record days now, like you can clearly see the effort and the attention to detail that goes into into that, which is obviously amazing.
Yeah.
Another question here, Sacha, which I think is kind of relevant. Well, it says here, is there a particular diet that you had, and how many hours would you say you dedicated to your fitness routine? Now, obviously, I'm privy to that information, but I don't want to take the words out of your mouth. So, do you want to sort of give people a bit of an insight into how that felt for you?
Yeah. So my diet didn't really change too much because I kind of eat quite well anyway. Like I just meat and veggies pretty much, and a bit of fruit. I did have to cut out sweets, which I don't mind a bit of cake every now and then. But yeah, that wasn't a big loss for something that I was very eager to train for. Plus, I found when you are training, so when you are doing a workout, most nights I was doing a 45-minute workout to an hour. So with that, you sort of have to have a decent eating program, or else you just can't sustain it, I found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah,
So
training 7 days a week. Sometimes I remember when I first jumped on with you, it was 7 days, and then you cut me down to 6 for a little bit, and then 7. So
yeah,
but
I think just to sort of add, like you say, to that is like it can be 7 days a week, but there are other things that we do in between, so it's not all like really hard sessions. So
right, yeah, that's right. Most of it, well, mainly about 3 of the workouts would be mobility.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like that's key for what we do day to day anyway. Like I still do mobility even though I'm not training at the moment.
Yeah.
just to keep my body getting its recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keeping those.
And I think the thing is as
Muscles.
well, like you trained like before you and I met, a few years ago, or whatever. But like you trained before that as well, so you had a good training history before that too. So it wasn't like you were unfamiliar with it. But I think, well, hopefully, we by working together, we've kind of managed to put together like a plan that enabled you to peak for the day, but also one of the first things you said on the call was, I feel really, really good now because we've got you to the peak, and we deliberately planned stuff so that you peaked on that day, and then afterwards, then you can reap the rewards of that for general life as well.
Absolutely, because like you said, I would train. I was training well before I even got onto you for years actually, but I was doing the wrong training. Like I wasn't doing what suited my body for shearing, which was I massively noticed when I jumped on with your training program because of that. I was more doing like bulky training, so I was bulking up, and it didn't really help my shearing at all because my body was never recovering, and I was always just sore and tired. So
Yeah, cool. So I'm conscious, obviously, it's getting late for you, Sacha. So I don't want to keep you up all night, but just want to make sure we answer another question. So, what encouraging advice would you give to another young woman looking to shear and compete?
I would say if someone's there and is keen to give you a bit of advice, even if it doesn't register to you on that day when they tell you, still try and keep it in mind and see if you can apply it later on as you evolve as a shearer. For sometimes for me, people would show, like a person would show me something, and it wouldn't be for 3 months later. I'd put it into play, and I'd go, "Whoa! I wish I did that straight away." But it was just where I was in my shearing, where I couldn't actually apply it. Getting onto shearing schools, that will be, like any little bit of information can just change the way your footwork is, can change the way your hand holds the handpiece. Like anything can help. You might just not see it yourself, and someone else just take someone else's eye to pick it up and just give you a bit of a lead in the right.
They're two really good points. Like you say, being ready to receive information, and like you say, and also sort of having other people watch you, look over you is such a key thing, no matter what you're doing. So shearing is such a hands-on, practical skill, isn't it? That it's almost impossible to improve it yourself just by your own thoughts, because no matter how good you are, like no matter how good you are.
And if you're learning, you get sore really, really quickly. So your mind's working when you're sore because all you're thinking about is your sore back.
Yeah. Actually, that's one thing that Matt Smith and I talk about when we're teaching shearers on our shearing courses here in the UK. Like we'll say to them, like, ideally we want you to be more mobile and more flexible and stronger, so that we can actually teach you the stuff, because being ready to receive information is not just mental, it's physical as well. So like if you're able to be in the positions we want you to be in this slightly different technique, then you get much better feedback from it. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. I've noticed that straight away. Personally,
just make sure I haven't missed anything major, because obviously a lot of people have asked about the mental build up and the focus during the 2-hour runs, etc. I mean, it's not to be, we've obviously got over the 4 2-hour runs, we've noticed a very consistent number. Like Robin has asked here, how did you keep so focused during the 2-hour runs? Now, clearly there was definite focus there. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't actually know how I did. Honestly, I don't actually know how I did it. It was just like, I've got a job and I've got to do it. So it just like switched on the day, and I managed to, and I wasn't completely focused the whole time. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there was times where I was thinking about throughout my shearing when I was thinking about what the boys in the back were doing because they were having a good laugh, and I was thinking, oh, I wish I was in the back there laughing with them. I was just making like worried about if everyone was having a good day.
Yeah.
um, Worried about what my daughter was up to. Like there was heaps of times where I just lost focus and just kept shearing. Like it's almost like I went into autopilot mode at those times, um,
That was
and
exactly
then
yeah, that was exactly the word that was coming into my head as you're saying all that. I'm thinking autonomous performance. So like you're basically just you don't quite know how you got there because it's so automatic. And then
yeah,
there will be moments because you're in that place in that like we call it that place of flow where basically your skill is matched by the difficulty of the task. So what
yeah,
happens is you go into this moment of flow, and because you're in that moment, it's almost like you don't really know how you're there. It's like driving a car to a destination that you go to all the time. You
yeah.
don't really know how you got there.
That's exactly how it felt like. Like that's what it felt like, and even at the end of the run, when the boys would say, "Oh, you've got 10 minutes to go. We need to do this," I'd be like, "Well, is that all? Like, I can't believe I've already shorn for that long. Like, it didn't feel like that long. It just felt like it felt like I was not having, like I was having such a good time shearing the sheep that I just enjoyed it that much. It just sort of
Yeah,
kept,
it just passed by.
yeah, just I don't know how. I honestly don't know how it happened.
Amazing, amazing. I've just got one more question, Sacha, which is from somebody here, and I just want to make sure I don't miss it, and then I'm going to let you go, if that's okay. So it's basically what it's probably more shearing technique. So in the lead up to your attempt, what were some of the adjustments you made to quicken your time per head?
Um, oh, so we spent a lot of time on my pattern, me and my partner, who was my second, Cole Luelia.
Yeah,
We he pretty much so we he pretty much my old pattern was just scrapped straight away, and we started from scratch and just worked out a pattern that suited me. And then from the start, pretty much him and Caleb Foot just got into me and was like, "No, you've got to do it the same how we've worked out your pattern to get you there," sort of thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I just worked on that pattern for the whole. I think it was I'd been shearing lambs since end of November right until the 2 days before the record.
Brilliant. Okay.
So
But basically, you came up with a slightly different pattern to what you normally
yeah,
do, and then you just stuck with that.
pretty much. And yeah, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't get all those lambs because it takes something like 90 something days for you to adjust and keep something in your memory. Um, so yeah, if I didn't get all those days on lambs, it probably could have been different.
So plenty of exposure
Yeah,
to that, to lambs. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Hey Sasha, look, I really appreciate your time this evening. I appreciate you've had a busy day, and you need to go and chill out again. Listen, me and you'll catch up again at some point, but yeah, I want to let you get on and do your thing. But I really appreciate your time, and obviously, I think it goes without saying that you know it was an incredible achievement. I was super proud of you, as I'm sure everybody else was watching it. Phenomenal performance, consistency, just everything you could hope for, really. And when I woke up and after that last run and saw that last number, I was buzzing. I was buzzing. So well done, and yeah, I'll catch up with you again soon.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Take it
I'll see
steady.
you later.
Ciao.